Monza, the scene of today's Italian Grand Prix, round 11 of the World Championship, is the oldest Grand Prix circuit currently in use, and it positively oozes with tradition and history. Here is the banked track, no longer in use. But this is the original Monza, first used in 1922, where today's Italian Grand Prix is going to be held, and that's the scene of the fastest Grand Prix ever, won by Peter Gethin in 1971. And today's race promises to be an absolute cracker. We expected it all to happen at Monza, and it has. And most of it is to do with McLaren. In a major policy statement, McLaren have confirmed, first of all, that Ayrton Senna is joining Alain Prost as their second driver in 1988. And they've also confirmed that from next season onwards, they'll be using Honda engines. Now, in a situation where they've been tremendously successful with the TAG turbo engine, what could possibly motivate them to change?
My own vision for the next few years is that some of the major manufacturers are going to come into Formula One, and what most teams are today will probably not be capable of getting the job done in the future, and therefore we are, figuratively speaking, changing gear and putting intensification into our future programs that hasn't really been seen so far in Formula One.
Now, McLaren's use of Honda engines next year is going to be at the expense of Williams, because Williams are not going to have Honda engines in 1988. Some people say that McLaren's gain is Williams' loss. But what does Frank Williams think?
Well, certainly there's no wailing and gnashing of teeth here at Williams. We have a very strong program for next year. A new car, maybe with active ride, with a Judd V8 engine, which will be very competitive in normally aspirated terms. And we wait with interest to see just how much horsepower the turbos will actually be able to race with next year. It may not be as much as people think.
There are effectively only 4 men in the Drivers' World Championship now. Nelson Piquet, 11 points ahead of his countryman Ayrton Senna. Nigel Mansell still in there with a fighting chance in 3rd place. And in 4th position, the reigning world champion, Alain Prost. Williams look as though they have the Constructors' Championship in their grasp, a long way ahead of McLaren in 2nd position. But McLaren just 1 point ahead of Lotus in 3rd place. Ferrari, on their home ground, are trailing badly.
And in 90-degree heat here at Monza, in pole position on the starting grid for the 3rd time this year, it is World Championship leader Nelson Piquet using for the first time ever the Williams with active suspension. Nigel Mansell is 2nd on the grid, and he's been on the front row of the grid for every race this year. Then the leading Ferrari, 3rd, Gerhard Berger. 4th, it is Ayrton Senna in the Lotus Honda, and Alain Prost, the world champion, is in 5th place. Then Thierry Boutsen, who's gone very well in the Benetton, 6th ahead of his teammate Fabi. Michele Alboreto in the 2nd Ferrari is way down in 8th position for his 100th Grand Prix. Riccardo Patrese is 9th, and his teammate De Cesaris is in 10th place. Derek Warwick is the 2nd highest British driver in 12th position. Martin Brundle, a lot happier with his Zaxby's car, is 17th, and Jonathan Palmer is in 22nd place on the grid, and he is the fastest 3.5-litre car. Well, believe it or not, after Austria, where there were 2 false starts before they got the race away, another one here in Italy, when Riccardo Patrese stalled his Brabham on the line. But fortunately, it was actually before the green light had gone, so no danger. And that meant another warm-up lap before the start of the 50-lap Italian Grand Prix. Okay this time. And Mansell surges away. Nigel Mansell Mansell went away into the lead as they went into the rettifilio, but already Nelson Piquet has taken the lead. Berger is third, Cross is fourth, Boutsen is fifth, and Ayrton Senna is sixth as they spread their way through this tricky series of bends, and nobody has gone into the sand.
There's a very serious traffic jam towards the back of the field then. They've actually had to come to a halt. And it was interesting at the start then because Nelson Piquet was very, very slow to react to the green light and made quite a tardy start. Mansell got his car moving noticeably before, and yet Piquet was still able to outpower Mansell to the first corner. So Nelson Piquet leads. Mansell second, and certainly in practice, the speed trap times of Piquet's car powering across the start-finish line were noticeably faster than those of Nigel Mansell, which does suggest that his engine's got a bit more power, and that certainly looked like it at the start then.
And here they come, Nelson Piquet leading, then it's Nigel Mansell, there's Berger, there is Boutsen, there is Cross, Ayrton Senna, Michele Alboreto well up and round the parabolica. They take that at about 170 miles an hour. They're coming through to complete lap one, and it's Piquet, Mansell, Berger, Boutsen, then a gap. Cross is fifth, and Senna is sixth. And an absolute cacophony of sound with Gerhard Berger in third position, closing up on Nigel Mansell, and Piquet is making a break for it. Berger is all over the back of Nigel Mansell. Williams in second place, and in fourth position, Boutsen in the Benetton is right with Berger, who's going for the second position now, but Mansell closes the door. That is the Roger series of men. Second side of fourth, the Boutsen is through, and it is second place. Boutsen up into second place. Fantastic.
And that was pretty hairy stuff there. Mansell, in fending off Berger, arrived too quickly at the chicane, swung wide, and Berger, with the enthusiasm of a Ferrari driver in front of his home crowd, was a little bit over-enthusiastic then, and just gave Mansell a bit of a biff, but he's up to third place now. So Berger third, but that allowed Boutsen a nice little gap to nip through into second place. So Mansell has dropped back, courtesy really of his own mistake then, and just arriving a little bit too quickly, as Prost is now challenging Nigel Mansell.
And that is Nakajima, Satoru Nakajima, off and in the sand trap, and he's going to find it very difficult indeed to get out of that. Somebody's lost a part of the side pod. It looks to me like part of a Brabham side pod, but we'll take a check on that. As the second and third then, Boutsen and Berger, followed by Mansell fourth. There is Senna harrying Cross, who is in fifth position, and under the bridge of the banked circuit and down to the Ascari bend goes Piquet. Berger third, Mansell fourth, Senna coming up into fifth place ahead of Cross. So Senna has moved up a place. There is Michele Alboreto in the second Ferrari, who is seventh. Down to the parabolica, they're doing 195 miles an hour as they approach that bend. And Berger is the quickest man, I think, on the top. No, Boutsen, 130.428 compared with the lap record, 128.1 held by Theo Harvey. And we are now on lap 6 of this 50-lap race. And leading the normally aspirated race at the moment is Philippe Alliot. Well, there's Alain Prost, obviously in trouble. He's dropping back, and just to prove it, his teammate Stefan Johansson is now ahead of him.
There is Alboreto's Ferrari's back view, and that side pod we saw being removed from the track was probably his, because he has got a naked radiator on one side of his car.
There is Piquet leading, Boutsen looking closer, Berger in third position, Nigel Mansell is still fourth, there is De Cesaris who is soaring, so it looks as though the second Brabham is in trouble. Ayrton Senna just going past there in fifth place. And Mansell, as you can see, there he is in fourth position, has closed the gap between himself and Gerhard Berger. There is now 0.7 0.75 seconds between Mansell in 4th place and Berger in 5th. Senna is 4 seconds behind Mansell in 5th position, and there's the Englishman catching the Austrian Gerhard Berger. Stefan Johansson is in 6th place, and Alboreto into the pit for something which is obviously not a tyre stop, because as you can see there is no furious activity around the wheels of the Ferrari. Another retirement question mark for the unfortunate Michele Alboreto. But Piquet, as I say, very much in command. And